Now, as I mentioned at the top of the program, Victoria's pandemic orders are going to be extended, have been extended now until the middle of the year, to July the 12th at least. Premier Daniel Andrews is also refusing to budge on vaccine mandates, which are preventing unvaccinated people from going to restaurants, cafes and sporting events. Let's bring in Victorian Opposition Leader Matthew Guy now. Thanks for joining us, Matthew. First up, this extension for another 3 months of emergency powers, is that warranted?
No, it's not. We can achieve what we need to achieve, which is masks on public transport and in health area network facilities like a hospital or aged care facility, for instance. You could do that through orders that already exist. Now, the government is extending pandemic orders when it should be focused on fixing the health crisis in Victoria. You know, we're seeing women give birth on the side of the road in Victoria because the government isn't focused on fixing what's the huge problems with O, with our ambulance dispatch services. They've underfunded it for many years, and now we're seeing what happens when a state government doesn't do the work during COVID to have us prepared for what comes next. And that's what's happened here in Victoria. If
it's not warranted to extend those emergency powers for 3 months, are they warranted at all now? Should we be getting rid of emergency powers immediately? Obviously still dealing with COVID-19, but dealing with it under normal government rules, under normal parliamentary accountability.
Yes, we should, because that's what National Cabinet agreed at the start of the pandemic. We actually agreed through National Cabinet, every state and territory agreed that we would get to a stage where we would move on. And while we're not going to put COVID behind us, we have to learn to live with it. We can do that sensibly through the laws that exist today. But it appears the state government in Victoria want to keep this crisis going. So state of emergency, state of disaster, pandemic legislation, that's not going to help us recover and rebuild. To rebuild the economy here in Victoria, to get people's confidence back, to keep our kids at school, to have no more lockdowns, you need certainty. The way to have certainty is to not extend pandemic laws, but to actually focus on what comes next. We can do that sensibly. We can do that safely. That's what I'm offering Victorians, as opposed to more of the last 2 or 3 years that the Premier wants to keep going with another 2 or 3 years.